Alright, welcome back for another daily upload. Today we have a randomizer video. So, we'll take the big spinner, set her down, and give her a spin. A weapon, it looks like. Ooh, exciting. Alright, put the big spinner back, take the small spinner out, and see what type. Right on the line. I technically think that's a bludgeon, but we'll do a respin just this once. Okay, I guess it will be a bludgeon. Alright, guess we're making a bludgeon today. Alright, so for today we will be making a weapon bludgeon. I made that whole video about bludgeoning weapons, and I said I'd make one, and I actually did go about making one, but I never really made it real, or never turned it into a video. Actually, it's just like a prop sitting somewhere that's in some of the many stages of cardboard decomposition. Essentially, the conclusion I came to in that video is that bludgeons are one-handed length, so I'll just draw a regular one-handed sword here. They cannot have a blade length longer than the maximum 24 inches, so the actual from the head of the bludgeon, whatever shape that might be, to the top spike, to the end of the shaft, has to be the same length as a one-handed sword, but it requires two hands to wield, so it could have a little bit of a longer handle. And when wielded in two hands, it is able to bludgeon through armor. So you can actually hit armor with it, and it'll go straight through, just like a dagger would, but it has the additional 16-inch length, because the max dagger is 18, or just 8. Do a little. There we go. That's a very poor dagger there, but you get the idea. Anyway, so that length, that's not hard. I mean, the actual length part of the sword really isn't the bad part about the bludgeon. The bad part about the bludgeon is you have to make the head 3D in some way. And so my proposal was that the head of your bludgeon has to be able to, in theory, have an internal volume greater than the volume of a roll of masking tape. So it should be able to fit it somewhere inside for it to be a bludgeon. Just this week, actually, I saw a very simple bludgeon made. I was actually pretty impressed at how well it turned out. Essentially, they made a flat paddle and then folded over some walls, kind of like that, and then added some spikes on the outside. That was a really, really effective, very simple bludgeon that ended up working out really well. Sort of a 3D little box with just triangles on either side, isosceles triangles, and it was an extremely durable little guy. The spikes weren't taped on super well, so some of those ripped off in battle, but the actual main internal structure that was larger than a roll of tape, it was something like that, really, really did a good job of fitting and protecting the shape of the bludgeon. And it was, of course, within a one-handed length. So the kid could use it as a sword, like with another sword with a shield or something, or they could use it as a bludgeon and bludgeon through stuff. They would just have to drop whatever else they were holding or sheath it so they could dedicate two hands to the bludgeon. But for me today, what shape do I want? So, sort of, not true traditionally, but one of the first, I guess you could call it a bludgeon, but this was years before bludgeons were invented. The first weapon I ever made was a very simple, you just rolled around a stick, and then you had a handle at the bottom. You literally just rolled a piece of cardboard around it, and so when I went and tried to make my own bludgeon, of course this never got turned into a video, I did a stick of the right length, and just a thick enough roll so that it looks like you could fit a thing of masking tape inside. It was a very, very, miserable bludgeon. It was really heavy, and so if it hit you, it actually kind of hurt. This one, however, was hollow, and so it was a lot nicer, but still much heavier than a regular sword, both due to air resistance and just due to the weight of the thing. So we got to figure out something that'll work. Maybe isn't just another one of these really basic cylinder bludgeons, and will actually stay intact if we hit a tree with it or something. So I'll do a little brainstorming and then bring you back when I get to an idea. I think I have an idea. I think I know what I'm going to do. And essentially, it's going to look like a sledgehammer. So, it'll be a basic sort of T structure with a little bit of a post, and then this will be a flat up here, and it'll taper down to an actual pole handle, and then the actual handle will be there. So the length of the top bit to there will be within the 24-inch limit. But now that we have this flat little like T card thing, we'll do essentially what was done with this one, because I think I was actually the one who figured out how to do this like little like two wing shape. You essentially tape the inside and the outside of that, and then the inside and the outside of the next one, and then you tape those together, and you just do that on both sides, and then you end up with some sort of like square-ish looking diamond thing. But it's a really great way of making hollow 3D shapes. And then you can just kind of buff out the end there with a couple more plates to make it a little bit more durable, and then you have a pretty good little sledgehammer. I don't really want to make mine a square. I'd love if it could be a circle, but obviously circles are really hard to make, so I'm not entirely sure how I do that. Or I could do something funny and make it like a hexagon. That might be really cool. I don't know how I'd do that either. Let's think. Maybe I could do something like you would have a strap across and then cut back a little bit and then do stuff like that, maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe I should just go the square route. The square route's kind of boring, but it's definitely the most structurally sound. Well, what other shape would be like structurally like that? I could do like a pentagon type of deal, where you'd have a T base. You'd have a T base on your T, and then just two walls there and there, and then your N shape would really be what held the pentagon as a pentagon. And you just have to do a really good job reinforcing the edge taping. Maybe that could work. I don't know. This would be hard because if you set on, well, actually, it would have a flat top, so it might rest really nice against the ground. You know what? I'm gonna try for something like this. I'm not entirely sure how it will go, but I think it would be really cool if it worked. So, yeah, we'll make a pentagon sledgehammer. Well, here goes. I'll get some cardboard and bring you back when I have all the stuff. Alright, so here we are with a 28-inch compound piece of wood. So it has sort of a 6-inch handle and then a 22-inch actual like blade part to it. I don't intend this to be crazy durable because I really don't intend to hit it into too many things. And because it's just for a one-off randomizer. I don't want to cut like a new piece of wood or anything for that. So instead we're just going to kind of really tightly mummy wrap this midsection here and pray to God it doesn't fly apart while I'm doing my stress tests. So yeah, that's essentially what we got for today. And then for the actual head of it, I cut these two little pieces and I flattened off either side of this one. So we're going to 90 tape this on here. Well, I don't know. That hurt my ears. Maybe that'll work for us for today. Really little simple guy, and we'll get her in there good with some extra cardboard and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to take these two pieces. Alright, so I'm going to trace out kind of what I want this little bludgeon to look like. And essentially, we're going to have a little piece like that. That'll be on both sides. So that'll actually be how big the head of this bludgeon is. And it's around about the width of a roll of tape, essentially. Maybe a little bit deeper. And this guy will just go right down the middle and fit in. And so attached to that will be the whole length of our handle. And for this, I might do a little bit of a thicker handle that we might try to round out, but I still want it to look like a sledgehammer. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut out this portion here as the actual like hammer portion, and then I'll do a second half that is the actual handle section. So I'll cut that out now. essentially what I want to do is cut up this piece into 5 3-inch sections that are the full length of the actual flat. Because I did some real garbage math, but this is about 4 inches, and we can just estimate diameter times pi is a radius of a circle, and a pentagon has a little bit more length than a circle does. So about 4 times 3 is 12, so we're going to go more than that, so like what, 15? So we're going to have 5 of these sections, and one of them is going to get taped on perpendicular to the top, and then the rest of them are all going to go on the sides. And we're going to have a nice end pentagon once we get all these into shape. Oh, that might be really big actually. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll make these into a pentagon. We'll trace out a couple of really stiff pentagons and attach them to the ends, and then attach these to that, and that'll be our thing. So yeah, I'll do time lapse of that. Alright, that is it for another daily upload. We finished our wonderful one-handed bludgeon with a handle that's long enough to be used in 2 hands, but can also be held one-handed and swung. This pentagonal type of... I drew a little frowny face on the front of it actually, but this sort of pentagonal style of designing like a head for an actual bludgeon, I don't necessarily dislike it. It's a pretty efficient system. It's not actually that fragile. I'm able to sort of bash it into plants and stuff, and really the scary part is just the force of me swinging it isn't enough to rip the handle, so the centripetal force is low enough that it's actually able to stay on, because some weaker bludgeons you can literally just swing them like a baseball bat and the head will just fly off into the distance, and it stays on pretty well, so I'm rather impressed with it. I'm not going to test it for like how hard it can pull in, because that is how bludgeons get broken. They get hooked over shields and the opponent rips back and the shield user rips back at the same time, and the weapon just comes apart. I'm not going to test that. I'm not incredibly confident in the internal structure, but for hitting people or things with the bludgeon, I totally think this would do a fine job. And just for using it, I think it's a pretty good weapon for a pretty simple little randomizer video. So that's it for today. I hope you liked it, and hope to see you again for another daily upload. Best of luck.